Hello everyone, welcome back again to our channel Code Circuit. So in the last tutorial, we had learned about version control in the DevOps VTU playlist. Okay, in today's video, guys, we'll be learning about Git, how to start Git, how to make use of basic commands in Git, and so and so. We'll learn about lots of important topics. And guys, you might be thinking why I have not started with experiment number 1 soon, but actually trust me on this, all of us need to be on the same page. Therefore, we are learning all the basic things needed so that our foundation and the base is clear, so that when we go to the experiments, I don't have to repeat all these things again. Okay, because all these things that we are learning will be repeated in all the experiments. That's how we get into DevOps. Okay, that's why it is very important to understand all the prerequisites. Therefore, in this tutorial, we will be learning about Git properly, how to get started and everything. Okay, so before starting this video, I would like to again ask all of you, those who have not subscribed or those who are new to the channel, please like and share our videos with your friends and family. Also, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, okay? Because that is the least you can do to motivate me to create more better content for you, okay? It hardly takes 1 second to subscribe, guys. But for us, it is really a booster and it is really a motivator for us to create even better content for you, okay? So thank you all of you for supporting us, and I hope you guys will be supporting us more and more in the coming future. Okay, so without any more ado, let's get started with today's video, which is introduction to Git. Everything about Git we will learn in this today's video. Okay, so let's get started.
Guys, if you have not watched these videos in our channel, you can just do one thing. We already have 4 introductory videos to Git here. You can see in our playlist, Git tutorial for beginners. We have the introduction to Git, we have the how to use Git video, and we have the installation video also, and after that certain basic commands also. Guys, today also I am going to start from scratch. Don't have to worry about it, and we'll be actually knowing how to actually get started with Git and all the basic commands that you need to learn. Okay, so don't worry, I will be starting absolutely from scratch. And if anyone has not watched this video, I'll just tell you one thing. You can go to this official website for Git, which is the gitscm.com. SCM stands for source code management. Fine. So here, depending on the operating system that you are using, you can simply go and download that option. Okay, you can see here it is actually given for your Windows, Mac, Linux, etc, etc. So right now I'm in my Windows, so I can just click on download for Windows and download it and start using it. Okay, and the installation is very simple, guys. You can just click next, next, next and finish. There is no rocket science in that. It's very easy to do the installation. Fine. And after that, when you have installed, you can just go to your terminal by using cmd, and you can just say git space -- version, and you can see the current version in my Windows is git version 2.39.0.windows.2. okay, so for you it might be different, the latest version. As you can see here, the version is 2.45.0. okay, so it depends. If you install the latest one, you will get the latest one. I have that one. Okay, so I'll just exit this. So let's do one thing. Let's go to our paint window, and I will just show you what I am going to explain you here. Okay, so suppose, guys, I'm telling you one simple thing. Okay, suppose I have my local system. This is my PC. Okay, say my personal computer or my PC, my laptop, whatever, and here I have created a simple folder. Okay, this folder I want Git to track my data, whatever I have inside that. Okay, so for that we have to use certain commands. Okay, all these things we'll learn together, don't worry. And so Git is an example of source code management tool or version control tool. Okay, and it actually helps us to track all the changes. Okay, track changes. This is a very important factor of version control. Fine. So when you are actually building an app or a product, an application, anything, whatever it can be, there many people will be actually collaborating together and writing code, right? And you never know who is going to do what kind of change. So it is very difficult without version control to know about the changes or keep track of the changes that are occurring during the life cycle of that application, of that project. Okay, so in that case what happens is it becomes very mandatory to track the changes. For that we can say that Git is one of the best applications or tools to do this version control thing. Okay, and that is what we will be learning here. Fine. As I said, here I have a folder. I want to track it through Git. So let's do one thing. Let's create a folder and then try to understand what I'm trying to say here. So I'll go to my desktop and right click and create a new folder. Okay. So let me just give a name to this folder. Say Coder Circuit. Fine. And now I will go inside this folder and create a new file. New text document and say f1.txt. This is my file. Okay, and right now I don't have anything related to Git here, right? Everyone knows that. So I'll right click and I will say I'll go to show more options and click Git bash here. See, it will open the command line terminal, which is actually similar to something in Linux or Ubuntu. Okay, so I will just maximize this for the time being, and initially there are certain commands that you need to know. Okay, so if you are very new to Git, you can say git underscore underscore or hyphen hyphen help, sorry. And you can see there are lots of commands that we will be using in Git. You can see git version, git help, and then Git says that these are the common Git commands used in various situations. You have the clone, we have the init, we have add, we have mb, we have restore, we have rm stands for remove, and lots of different commands, guys. We'll be learning about lots of commands in our upcoming videos and today's video as well. Fine. So right now there is a command called git status, which actually tells you the status of our Git repository. Okay, I will talk about the term repository in a while, don't worry. So if I say git status, it says that fatal, not a Git repository. Okay, let's try to understand what I'm saying here. So I'll go to my paint again and try to tell you something here. Okay, so as I said, I have a folder where I will actually store my code. Okay, and I will make some changes to the code, and gradually I will try to build the application based on that. Just think like in that. Okay, in case of Git, this is called a repository, or you can also say a storage space. Okay, fine. So right now, in order to make this a repository, we have to use the command called git init. Okay, if I go back to my git bash and let me say clear to clear the terminal, and then I will say git init. Now you can see it has initialized an empty Git repository in the particular location where I had that Coder Circuit folder. Okay, and you can see there is a .git folder here. Let me just show you here so that you can understand the same thing. I'll go to the folder and I will just refresh this. You can see there is a .git folder. Guys, this folder is very important for our purpose, and all the changes that we do will be actually stored or tracked and analyzed in this .git folder only. Okay, so this is a very important folder. Fine, all the changes that we do, everything that we do will be actually stored inside this .git folder. Fine, so we have actually initialized a repository. Guys, there is one more thing that I want you to know. See, there are two terms that basically people confuse. One is Git and one is GitHub. Fine, Git is actually the version control tool. Okay, what is GitHub? GitHub is an online repository where we can store our code. Got it? These are the two different things. So as I told you, Git is the tool and GitHub is the online repository or storage where we can actually store our code. Fine. So right now I have created a repository in my Coder Circuit folder, and then if I now see the status, if you want to go back to your previous code or the command that you have written, you can just press the up arrow. You can see, and if I say git status, you can see on branch master, but it says there is a issue here. See, it's not an issue, but actually there is a condition it is written here. You can see it says untracked files. Okay, and it says no commits yet. We'll come to commits in a short moment, but for the time being, let's try to understand what is untracked files. Okay, so what I will do, I'll go to this paint and create a new paint document, and I'll just tell you something here. Guys, see, I had a folder where I actually use the git init command, and then I created an empty repository. Okay, and then here our target is when you are building an application, there the most important part is our main or master branch. Okay, let me show you here. As soon as you initialize the git repository, you can see we got something called master. Okay, so let me just elaborate that now. So whenever we create an app, our main or master branch is actually empty. Okay, there is nothing inside that. Then as soon as we start updating or making changes or writing new code, then what happens, we actually create different branches. Say a developer wants to add a feature, so you'll say F1 branch. Some developer wants to add one more feature, then that person will say F2 branch. For the developer 1 it is F1, for the developer 2 it is F2, something like that. And okay, after the developer thinks that all the changes are working fine, all the features that he is adding is working fine, then what is done, along with the main branch, this is our main branch, all the branches will be merged together. Okay, so just remember the main branch will always have the stable working code. Okay, the working version of the code will be there in the main branch. Fine, it should be very clean. Okay, any changes that we do, we should be always creating a new branch, making all the changes, all the updates, then after that we will be actually merging them with the main branch. But this is not an easy task, guys. Please remember this. After you have done all the things, we have to get it tested, we have to get it approved. Okay, this approval has to come from your seniors also. If you are working in a lower profile in the industry, then this thing has to be approved by the clients also, because if the client is not approving the changes in the application, obviously you are not going forward, right? That thing also have to be done. And then after that, when you are actually sure of all these things, then you actually move or merge this into the master branch. As I told you, see, this is the master, and here everything will be merged together later. So that is what we will be doing. Okay, got it? Now I had already created this, what to say, the f1.txt file, right? I created this manually, and now if I go back to my terminal, you can see that it says a file is untracked. Now let's try to understand what is an untracked file. Fine, so I will create one new one, and let's try to understand. So as I said, we use the folder, created the repo which is empty. Now it is in the master or main, you can say. Guys, the master is also called the main branch. Fine, and it is right now empty. Then we used what command? The git init command, correct? After that, now I had a file called f1.txt. So this is in our local system only, and it is actually called untracked. That means git is actually not tracking our file right now. So if there is any loss to the data, git will not be able to revert it back. Okay, so there is one area called the staging area. Okay, so we have to add those files. Say this is f1.txt, say p1.py, say j.java, whatever files that you are adding, all these files have to be added to the staging area where git actually starts tracking them. Okay, Fine, got it. So let's try to do this. I have already showed you manually. Let me do one more thing. Let me just go back to the folder and right click, create a new document again. I will say f2.txt, press enter, and now let's go to the git bash and try to say git status again. Press enter. You can see there are two untracked files now. Correct. Now let's do one thing. You can see it has given you a command called git add the file name. Okay, so I can add them by using this git add command like this. I can say git add f1.txt, press enter. Now if I say git status, you can see one file has been added to the, what to say, the staging area, and it says that if you want to unstage it, then you have to use the rm minus minus cached command. Okay, and you can see only one file was added, so the other file f2.txt is not tracked. Now let's do one thing. Let's use this rm minus minus cached command, git rm minus minus cached f1.txt, and press enter. So it says f1.txt. Now guys, if I just go to git status and see, you can see both the files are again back to the untracked area or the local machine. Okay, now git is not tracking them, but it doesn't mean that guys the four files will be deleted from my system. Okay, don't think like that. If you are thinking like that, you will be getting confused. So don't worry, I will just tell you. When I use the rm minus minus cast command, the file was actually brought back from the staging area into the untracked area. That's all. You can see no file has been deleted whatsoever. Okay, don't worry about that. So the rm minus minus cast command actually reverts back or transfers back the file from the staging area to the untracked area. Now git is not tracking it. Okay, now if I say git status, you can see that both the files are not tracked. Now if you want to add all the files together, I can say git add and dot. Fine. So if you are not used to the commands, you can gradually learn them one by one. And guys, if someone is comfortable with shell scripting or Linux based commands, then you can just use these commands to add the files. Okay, I will just show you. I can say dir double angle brackets and say test.java, and if I refresh here, you can see test.java has been added. Let me go back here. Let me just do one thing. Let me minimize the size of this one also and keep it here, somewhere here. Okay, so that we can see side by side both of them. And here if I say dir p1.py, press enter, and if I refresh here, okay, sorry, my command was wrong. It was dir double arrow and p1.py. Okay, enter, and if I refresh here, you can see p1.py has been added. Okay, got it. Now if I say git status, see these two files are not tracked, so I can just use git add and dot to add all of them. And now if I say git status, see guys, it says on branch master no commits yet, changes to be committed. Now I hope you were trying to get into the sync of this thing, right? Are you understanding? Let me just explain in a simple manner. What happened when we were in the folder, after that we started adding files, right? Now they were not tracked. Got it? Then what happened? As soon as we said git add, we actually added them to the staging area. Correct? So that means that when you are ready to save a copy of the current state of the project or the application, you actually stage the changes with the help of the git add command. Okay? Got it? Now after that, this means that actually we are very happy with whatever we have done, all the changes that we have made. Now we have added them to the staging area. After that, what is the next thing? The next thing is to commit our changes. Okay, but before that, I will show you one more thing that you need to know. Okay, so I showed you the dir command to add files. Now there is one more command called touch. I will say index dot index.html. Okay, press enter, and if I refresh here, you can see index.html has been added here. Fine. So now if I say git status, see index.html is not added. So I can add it manually also, or I can say git add dot. Fine. So now if I say git status, see all the files have been added. Now we are actually satisfied with whatever work we have done, all the changes that we have made. Now what we can do is we can just use the commit message like this, git commit -m is the message flag. In double quotes I can say first commit, added new files and made some changes. Okay guys, your commit message should be very descriptive and it should be very easy to understand, because if you are working alone it's okay, but sometimes you will be working in a team and everybody is in the team should be aware of what are the changes made, and everybody should be able to understand the commit messages that we are passing. Okay, so make sure your commit messages are very simple and to the point. Okay, because otherwise it will be a very big problem for the collaborating team to understand the messages, and it will be very difficult to track your changes. Okay, so I'm just pressing enter, and you can see git commit -m has committed, and now we have successfully saved all our changes now. Fine. Now let me tell you what actually the commit message is doing. See, as I told you, when you are actually ready to save a copy of the current state of the project, we actually do what? We actually use the git add command, right? I had already told you. So after making all the changes, we actually save a copy of the current state of the project by using the git add command. After that, what we do? After that, when you are actually happy with the stage snapshot, see, everything has been staged now. What do? We actually do a commit command so that we can save a snapshot of the project history. Okay, this is very important, guys. Understood? Got it? I hope this is clear now. So in order to accept all the changes that we have done, we use the git add command so that all the files that we have changed or updated go to the staging area, and after that, when you are actually happy with all the changes and we want to keep a snapshot or save them, then we actually use the commit message. That means it is like a finalized version where we actually accept all our changes and commit them so that everyone can view that. Fine. Got it? Now what we can do is, now we can actually go back to git and see some other commands. Okay, so I will just maximize it, and here I will just show you something here. So now I will just say git log, that is also one command, and you can see it will actually show you all the commits that you have. Right now we have only one commit, and you can see the head is actually pointing to the master. That means everything is in sync and everything is okay, there's no problem at all. And guys, if you are finding awkward to see this long message, you can also use the command called git log --one line to see the log in one line. You can see this is actually called a checksum, guys. This is a very big number, so for us only the first 7 digits is important. So you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 again. This is the commit checksum, which is actually used to go back and forth in our record. Okay, we can just go forward or back by using this checksum. Okay, we will learn about all those stuffs in our upcoming videos. Don't have to worry about that. For the time being, just try to understand the concepts and go with the flow. Okay, so I hope you have understood this. Okay, now if I say git status, see here it says on branch master, nothing to commit, working tree is clean, so everything is up to date here, no problem at all. Now I want to show you two diagrams so that you can even understand it better. Okay, so just see here, guys. Let's not talk about the GitHub workflow. First, let's talk about the Git workflow. So here we are creating a folder or creating something, and then we are writing some code. We are staging our changes. So as soon as we stage our changes by using the git add command, all the untracked files come to the tracking area or the staging area. Okay. After that, when we want to save a copy of the current state of our code, then we commit our changes. Okay, got it? And after that, we will actually come back to this push command. Push command we'll learn in the next part of the video. Don't have to worry. The push command, what does it do? It actually finalizes it and it actually stores it in a central server where you actually will be working in the industry. Okay, the best example of this is GitHub. Okay, the GitHub is an example of a central repository or online repository where we actually push our changes that we have done in our local system. And suppose 7 or 8 members or many members are working in a team, then when we push our changes, then all the changes that we have done will reflect in the online server. Okay, and everyone can view the changes that we have done to our code. Okay, and after that you can see there is a pull request. That means suppose you have been working on your code and in the meantime someone else has made some changes to the online repository where they are working together in a team. Okay, then you might not know all the changes that have been gone in the backend, right? So if you want to get the latest version of the code in your system, then you can use the pull request. We will learn about all these things together, don't worry. So for the time being, I think this much of introduction to Git is enough for you, because let's go step by step so that we can understand everything in a better way. Okay, so now, as I told you, this is the local Git workflow, and you just try to understand the diagram. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this thing, and after that, this is the GitHub workflow. We'll talk about this GitHub workflow in the coming video, don't worry guys. Okay, so here we write the code, then we commit our changes, and GitHub is actually a UI based system where we can easily do it by clicking some icons and do it very easily. You don't have to remember any code or commands. Okay, and after that, when we have committed our changes, here you can see we are making a pull request to pull all the changes from the online server to our local system. Okay, so I hope you have understood this guys. Now let's do one thing. Let me just give you a brief recap of what we have actually learned till now. So as I told you already, so this is where we start building an application. We write our code, then we actually stage our changes by using the git add command. Okay, after that we commit our changes to save a snapshot of the project history by using the git commit command. Then after that, as I said, we will be learning this part in the next video. Here we have GitHub where we have our online repository. Here all the changes that we had in our local system, in our local repository, will be pushed to the online repository. And after that we'll also learn how to use GitHub. From GitHub we want to pull the code to our local, and there is one more command that we need to learn, that is the git clone command. Okay, suppose we have an online repo which we just want to copy to our local system or anywhere, then we can use the git clone command. Okay, so these are some of the basic commands that we have used guys, and we'll be using lots of other commands. So I hope you have understood this video. If you have any doubts, you can please post your doubts in the comment section. I'll be very happy to clarify them. And at the same time, if you really like the video, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon, because that will really motivate us to bring more content to you.
Okay guys, so I hope you have got a very good idea about Git now. Now what we will do is we'll also have one more part of the same thing where we'll be learning how to push all our code from the local into GitHub, because without that the whole system will not understand. Okay, because we cannot only work on our local, we have to be connecting to the remote also, the cloud also. So therefore we have to understand how GitHub works and how we can integrate our local machine to the remote cloud, GitHub, the online repository. Okay, so in the next video we'll be learning about that, and after that we'll be switching on to what, the first experiment guys, which you have been eagerly waiting. Okay, so please stay tuned for that also, and if you really like the videos, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Okay, thank you again, and till the next time, this is Saurabh signing off. Bye bye and happy learning. Thanks a lot.